game development buttons, and we are almost done. This is the 15th step out of the 16 of the game, the phaser tutorial. So we're using this phaser framework, and in the last video we created this game here. Let me refresh it. So oops. Okay, so now we can play this game here, and as you can see, we have the points, we have the lives, and every time the ball is touching the bricks are slowly disappearing. So we added some animations and twins to our game. Okay, so now we're gonna add some buttons. Okay, so you can click here and you're gonna get the GitHub repository, so you can check out the code if you want here. Okay, so also if you go in the same website, if you go way at the bottom, you can see the JavaScript here, the HTML, but we're gonna be dealing with the JavaScript here. So instead of starting the game right away, we can leave the decision to the player by adding a start button they can press. Let's investigate how to do that. So new variables, and we're gonna go into our JavaScript file. Okay, so let me see, let's close this one. Okay, so new variables. We will need a variable to store a boolean value representing whether the game is currently being played or not, and another one to represent our button. Add these lines below your other variable definition. So we're gonna add two more variables. Okay, so let me see, we are gonna go, this is the functions, we start right here. So we're gonna have this variable name playing. Okay, it's gonna be like this, playing, and we're gonna set it to false by default, semicolon at the end, and then we're gonna have the start button. So we're gonna have this variable, this is a let declaration, and it's gonna be the start button, camel notation, and we just put a semicolon at the end, so a start button. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so loading the button sprite sheet. We can load the button sprite sheet the same way we loaded the balls wobble animation. Add the following to the button of the preload function. Okay, so we're gonna have we have here the preload function. We're gonna go here at the bottom, and we're gonna have gain that, and the sign is gonna be load sprite sheet. Okay, this is pretty much the same, load that sprite sheet. Okay, and then we're gonna be passing, okay, so let me guess, we're gonna pass in button. Okay, so let me see, yeah, and then we're gonna pass in the image, then it's gonna be button.png, and we are gonna download it in a moment. So just making sure everything is fine. So button img button.png, and then we're gonna pass in the width and the height. Okay, so it's gonna be 120 and it's gonna be 40. Okay, semicolon at the end. And now a single button frame is 120 pixels wide and 40 pixels high. Okay, you also need to grab the sprite sheet from the GitHub and save it in your /images directory. So we can click here, and okay, it's gonna send us to this button image. So it's loading. It might take a while, but while we wait, okay, so it's already here. Okay, so this is pretty much the button that we're gonna use, the start. Let's just download it. Okay, so we already have it here. I have downloaded by default to my downloads folder. I'm just gonna cut it, so Control X. I'm gonna go to my programming.js, and I'm gonna go into my game phaser folder, and then into my image folder. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And if I go right now into my image folder, I can click in the button.png, and there he is. Okay, that's fine. Let me see, nothing has changed here, obviously. Okay, so let's close this one, let's keep moving. Adding the button to the game. Adding the new button to the game is done by using the add that button method. Add the following lines to the bottom of your create function. Okay, so add the following lines to the bottom of your create function. Okay, create function, let me see. Okay, And okay, so this is the create function, and it's gonna end right here. So this is the bottom, and we're gonna have pretty much, yeah, this is gonna be the start button. Okay, so we're gonna have star, star, okay, I have it here, the start button, and we are gonna set it to the game that world, or I mean game that add button, like this. Game that add button, we're gonna open parentheses, and inside of the parentheses we're gonna have the game that world. So okay, game that world that width, okay, and we're gonna multiply it by 0.5. We're gonna separate it with a comma, and we're gonna have the same pretty much. Again, the world, the height, okay, it's height, and I think it's negative minus 25. We separate it with a comma. No, we multiply it as well, so we multiply it by 0.5. We separate it with a comma. Okay, then we're gonna have as a third parameter, we're gonna have this string just button. The fourth parameter, we're gonna have the start game. Okay, we haven't created it yet, but we're gonna put it here, the start game. Then we're gonna have the keyword this, comma, and then we are just gonna have some numbers. So it's gonna be 1, and we're gonna have 0, and finally 2. Okay, so we're done with the numbers, and we can finally close this. Okay, so we close the parentheses, semicolon at the end of the parentheses, and start button. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so after the parentheses, after the semicolon of the parentheses, we're gonna call in the start button, like this. It's gonna be a start button, and we're gonna set it to start button that anchor that set, and we're gonna pass in 0.5, and we're gonna end it with a semicolon. So we have the start button that anchor that set. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we can refresh it, and now I mean the game is still the same, but oops. Okay, so we still don't have our start game, but let's keep moving. The button method's parameters are as follows: the button's x and y coordinates, the name of the graphic asset to be displayed for the button, a callback function that will be executed when the button is pressed, a reference to this to specify the execution context, the frames that will be used for the cover, out and down events. I mean the frames that will be used for the over, out and down events. Okay, note the over event is the same as hover. Out is when the pointer moves out of the button, and down is when the button is pressed. Okay, now we need to define the start game, and this is the start game. We haven't created it yet, so we need to define it. We need to define the start game function reference and the code above. Okay, so let me see. We have this function start game. Let me see. Now we need to define the start game function reference and the code above. Okay, let me see. We are gonna put this. Let me see. We have that. We have the start that is gonna be inside of the. Okay, all this code is inside of the create. Okay, of the create, we're gonna go way down here. Okay, it didn't say where, but let's just put it here. It's gonna be in the we're gonna create this function name start game, and okay, so this is a function. We're gonna open curly braces, and we are gonna have the start button like this. We have the start button that destroy. Okay, that destroy. Okay, start button that destroy, semicolon at the end. Okay, then we're gonna have the ball that vary that velocity, ball that vary that velocity. Okay, semicolon. Okay, we open parentheses, semicolon. No, let me see. Ball that vary that velocity, that set. Okay, that velocity that's set, and we're gonna pass in the parameters 150 and the negative 150 semicolon at the end. And finally we're gonna have in the playing, and we're gonna set it to true. We're gonna set it to the boolean true. Okay, we can save it. Okay, let me see. Okay, so we have this function start game. We can refresh this one. Okay, so now it's working here. Okay, when the button is pressed, we remove the button, sets the ball's initial velocity, and set the playing variable to true. Okay, finally, for this section, go back into your create function, find the ball that varies the velocity that's set with the parameters 150 and negative 150 line, and remove it. You only want the ball to move when the button is pressed, not before. Okay, so we need to go into the create function. We're gonna go into the create function, and we need to find the this one. Let me see, that's right, ball that varies the velocity that's set, and we are gonna remove it like that. Save it. Okay, so we did that. Okay, so let's check it out for now. Let's refresh it. Oops. Okay, so now pretty much nothing. I can move the paddle, so the paddle is moving around, so but the game is not starting unless I click here in the start. So now the game has started finally. Okay, that's cool. Keeping the paddle still before the game starts. So as you can see, if I click here, oops, refresh it, the game hasn't started since I didn't press the start button, but the paddle is moving, so I can move the paddle. So we're gonna change that. Keeping the paddle is still before the game starts. It works as expected, but we can still move the paddle when the game hasn't started yet, which looks a bit silly. To stop this, we can take advantage of the playing variable and make the paddle movable only when the game has started. To do that, adjust the update function like this. So we need to to do that, adjust the update functions like so. Okay, so we're gonna go into the update function this time. Let me see, let me see how many lines of code. 186. Okay, update function, we need to go for the update function and create. Okay, so create should be here, update. Okay, yeah, since this is small, or you can just press Ctrl F and just pretty much type in function update and you can look for it faster. Okay, so we have the game physics.arcade.collide, ball paddle, ball hit paddle, that's fine. Then we have the game physics arcade collide, ball bricks, ball hit brick, that's fine. And then we have the paddle that X. Okay, so what we are gonna do right here is we're gonna have an if statement, and inside of the if statement we are gonna have the paddle that X set to gain that input as our block code or as our statement. So let me see. Okay, first of all we're gonna create the if statement declaration like that, curly braces, and now we're gonna say if playing. So if playing, then something is gonna happen, and that something is gonna be, let me just pretty much cut X or Control X this one, and pretty much go into the curly braces and just paste it here. So let me see, if playing, then the paddle that X is gonna be assigned to the gain that input that X. So we're talking about the horizontal coordinates, the X coordinates, or the gain that world that width is going to be multiplied by 5. So if playing, the paddle that X is going to be set to the gain that input that X or the gain that world that width multiplied by 0.5. So that's pretty much it. Now the way the paddle is immovable after everything is loaded and prepared, but before the start the actual game. So okay, the way the paddle is immovable after everything is loaded and prepared, but before the start of the actual game. So now we can compare our code. You can check it out here. So you have the JavaScript, and you have, let me see, where did they put the final function. Let me see if they put it all the way. They put it all the way, almost all the way down. Let me see. But now the most important thing, we're gonna pretty much first of all refresh our page. Okay. So now if I try to move the paddle, nothing is working. The paddle is not moving. So the game, I can click here, click in the lives, click in the bricks, click in the ball, click in the paddle, and the background. So it's not working. So unless I click here start. So once I click start, I can finally start playing this game. And let me give it a try. So okay, so let's see if we can win. We're gonna keep moving. Okay, 50 points. Oops. Okay, that's fine. Let me see. Oops, I lost. Okay, life lost, click to continue. Okay, so I have one more life. Oh, two more. That's cool. Let me see. Yeah, it's kind of difficult since I'm using my finger to move around. I don't have a mouse. I'm just using my laptop to do this. So let me see if I can win this. Okay, that's fine. Oops. Okay, that's fine. We're almost there. Okay.